An Extremely Goofy Movie is a 2000 animated comedy film distributed by the Disney company, home video, produced by the television animation. It's standalone to the 1995 original Goofy movie and the finale to the series of Goof Troop. Welcome to my seventh, I think it's my seventh video, maybe my eighth. Welcome to my seventh video in this series where I tackle each Disney direct to VHS video sequel. Also, before I start, got a new lava lamp, but this is the old one, but I got the new one, and my issue is that the goddamn light bulb does not work. So we're stuck with this broken one that I broke like 3 videos ago, so maybe it'll go up. Maybe it won't. I won't lie, y'all. There really isn't a lot of info that I found about this sequel movie. There's a lot about the first movie, so that's basically what the background footage I'm going to be using for this. One thing I do want to add, though, before we watch the movie, is that there's a little inconsistency error that I think there is. Basically, Max in the first movie, he was 14 at the end of his high school year in a Goofy movie, which would mean that he just finished his 9th grade in that movie. So if Max finished 9th grade in 1995, wouldn't he logically finish 12th grade in 3 years later in 1998, assuming that he started college that same year without taking a year off in between high school and college? It doesn't make any sense. All I'm saying is that Max's age doesn't make sense in this. Max's love interest, Roxanne, from the first movie is not in this movie due to story difficulty and that she just didn't work into the movie at all. I guess they went to different colleges or something. But other than that, I really think that's all I could find. But buckle down. I'll talk a little bit more at the end. But buckle down because I really love this movie and all its weird plot holes. So let's start. All right, open shot. We get a very reminiscent throwback to the old Goofy shorts with the Goof Man himself hitting the gong. I don't know, I feel like I've seen this before. An Extremely Goofy Movie. They got Skater Max doing some flips with his buds. This is the late 90s. Skating is up. Tony Hawk is in. Max is going to college. So we throw in a little getaway party. You know, we got the little hooligan kid, bad boy kids only excited about going to college because of the X Games, which isn't a thing. Not even back then. But man, what else is college good for? Goof Man is sad that his son is leaving, but Pete is excited as fuck about his son leaving, which didn't he love the ever-living shit out of him in the first movie? So like, what happened in those 3 years since? I don't know. But PJ got some explaining to do. Also, his voice actor is the same as Carl Weezer from Jimmy Neutron. So that's basically all I'm going to hear this entire movie and might accidentally refer to him as such. All right, Goofy Goof. Yes, that's his real name. Over here's Bobby. You remember Bobby talking about the X Games? And he tells Max,
"That there X Games fiddle-faddle may be all well and fun. You're going off to college to make something of yourselves."
Exactly.
Which I hear that every day.
Well, no thanks, I'm saving room for weenies.
Goofy Goof gives him a lesson on horseshoes, which no one plays anymore unless you're at a bar. Kids ignored him, started eating.
Save a weenie for me!
Max Goof packs for college, and he gets into a fight with Goof about his stuffed animals that he wants to take with him. Which wasn't this the same one he had in the last movie? Also, even in the Mickey Christmas one, I remember, I don't know, I feel like I've seen it before. Instead, he gives him a typewriter as a gift, as a going away present. So there's that. He goes to bed. He cuddles with the bear. Goofy Goof watches. I also paused it on this shot in the next scene because I was distracted by this photo on the wall. I wanted to admire it with y'all for a second. The composition on Goofy Goof's eyes just make it look like he's not ready to be a father. Very impactful. Next scene, Maxie Max just heads out to orientation just mid-breakfast. Goof sad. This is like the same reaction my dad had when I moved to Florida to work for Disney. He sees he left his bear and cries a little bit. Bobby's on the is on the wheel. He gets distracted by the map. He runs into some cornfields and he comes out the other end of them right on campus. So they start checking out the ladies.
Welcome you to the first day of the rest of our lives.
They spot this guy named Bradley Uppercut the Third, and they're mesmerized by him. Next scene, we see Goofy at work in a factory that makes kids' toys. Like, was he always an assembly line worker? Wasn't he a photographer in the last movie? Wasn't he also have a different job in the Christmas movie? I don't remember seeing anything about this anywhere, not even in the comics. Anyway, he presses this button on the factory line and he goofs up the whole factory. It explodes. Now he's fired.
You're
After a quick skate through the neighborhood with the gang, they skate past Uppercut the Third. They just skate by him normally, you know, no impressive stunts. And everyone's like, damn, did you see how good they were skating? But did you see those moves? What the weird thing about skating now is that, like, it's definitely, like, taking a decline. Like, no one really skates anymore. Like, I don't even look twice at skaters anyway if they skating past me. You know, I can't even skate. Brad the Third and his crew start following them. I also paused on this screen and I was looking at the names. A Goofinator. They go to this hipster coffee shop called the Bean Scene, which is funny because there's also a place near me called the Bean Scene, but it's a hookah lounge.
Life is like a lime.
A couple snaps later, Bradley Uppercut the Third introduces himself to Max Goof and wants to make him his first draft on the X Games fucking draft, but not his friends. So he kindly refuses. Brad the Third gets upset. He says, "You don't want to be weighed down by those clowns."
Check it.
They start messing with his friends. The hipster girl stops them. They intimidate them with snaps. They make a bet or something. Goofy is unemployed, but he can't get a job because he don't got a degree. And he needs one to get a job, so I can see where this is going. Goofy is in college. He has got some real swag on him. Goofy has an afro, very impressive.
Groovy for college.
Dad, you're scaring people.
All right, PJ Carl Weezer here freaks out for Max. I'm also loving the gut belly here on Bobby Cheeseman. Very accurate. I love that he had as like a bigger role in this movie, even though he's not really eating cheese. Max explains why Goofy Goof is in college with them.
Can't find a good job without a degree.
Fired? Whoa. You mean like his pink slip was showing?
Goofy barges in the next morning, wakes their asses up. It's time to roll. What game is this? Goofy Goof basically messed up all the girls Max is trying to flirt with. He's just a giant cock block. Max gets a paper airplane letter and he heads out to the aisle that it says at the library. Maxie tries to get Goof a library card. He ends up flirting with a librarian, which, listen, I don't know if I'm just stuck in the past, but what happened to Clarabelle? The cow? Isn't she the mom of Max? I don't know, but the vibes, I don't know, but they vibe about the 70s. She asked him to go out on a date.
You know, Goofy, you're pretty groovy.
He don't know how to act. Maxie is grinding away. He just runs into his dad, who just wants to tell him that he got a date.
Hey, isn't that baby Goof's old man?
How does he know who he is? He asks Max to join his skateboard team because they did so good. He says no. Then Uppercut the Third asks Goofy Goof to join their team. And Max overhears them and he convinces his dad to join the Brad 3 team. So now they're rivals or something. Carl PJ does some wordplay to impress the hipster girl.
It is endemic of the current culture that those with large stature are overlooked. The height of their passion, the beauty of...
And they go dance, shake your groove thing just kind of starts playing, and Goofy Goof and the librarian, her name is Silva. Sylvia. I think it's Sylvia, by the way. They just have like a grooving session. It's cute. They fall in love pretty fast for some old people. I guess they don't have much time to take it slow. Next scene, Brad 3 gets turned into a girl. I don't know, some weird ritual is happening with Goofy and the fraternity, but he lights his ass up, sprays the fire extinguisher into his mouth. The next scene, we are at the X Games, sponsored by ESPN and ESPN2, which, hear me out, I think around this time Disney acquired ESPN, right? And they wanted to try to boost it, and I assume they must have thought that skateboarding was the sport that kids like and threw it into this movie, which I hope that's not the case. It's still a good movie, but like I hope it wasn't like a last minute plug-in, and that's the reason. Let's continue. There's a kid that kind of waves at the camera. The first trials begin, and Goofy Goof is first up. They give him a boosted board, which is probably illegal. He beautifully fumbles through the tracks and just gets basically straight 10s. Max is shocked. Then Maxie goes off and uppercut the third, flashes a little mirror in his face, which is also illegal. Mid.
You may have won this time, but Dad, this campus just isn't
Big enough for the both of us.
He
Now
says
just
leave
leave
him
me
alone and
get
just
your
get
own
his own
life.
life. All right, it's midterm time. The first question. Goofy zones off during the test, having a little acid trip, it seems. He's just fantasizing about Max. Must have been a good trip. Definitely the strangest part of the movie. I don't know what the animators were smoking during this,
but I like it.
halfway through he turns into a bad trip, and then he lands in the void. Test is over. He didn't even answer a question. Everyone's gone. He missed the date with Silva, library lady. Must have been a long trip. Max gets humbled by a girl.
I know you. Aren't you?
Yeah, Max.
Goofy son.
He then decides to head over to the bean scene.
Do you ever wonder why we're always like wearing gloves?
He orders a double shot, thinks about transferring schools because of just one game.
Can't even beat my father, who is probably the most athletically challenged man in the universe.
Cheese Boy convinces Maxie to stay, and we'll just fuck up the other team. Goof Man Goof apologizes to the library Silva, says he got to get his grades up or whatever. She accepts him, and with a little
Yuck.
he topples over the books. He doesn't get in trouble. Now it's time to train for those tests. He goes to take another midterm, gets straight A's. Goofy wants to quit the team.
Nobody quits the Gammas.
Then they kick him out. After he gets kicked out, he forgot to return his pin, so he just kind of casually walks back in. He overhears them saying that they're gonna cheat to win.
Well, I gotta warn Maxie.
He goes to tell Maxie, he doesn't listen, and he leaves. What's new? Now it's the finals. We got Team 1, the Gammas. Everyone freaks out because Goofy Goof isn't on the team anymore.
What happened to Goof, man?
A few games in, which we've never seen them practice for before even mentioned, like rock climbing, speed racing, fucking biking, which Gamma cheats in all of them. Then it's skating time. They blast Carl Weezer into a different state. Now they can't compete because they're short a player. Is the kid okay? Then Maxie goes on the blimp just conveniently and tells Goofy Goof to come back and join their team. He does. After regrouping with his son, the game starts. Some more cheating ensues. Goofy hits an old lady. These guys have planned out so many different cheats and plans to win this race. It's actually very impressive. Is this all they do as their practice, is just to plan out ways to cheat? Bobby falls into some mud. He's out. Goofy hits uppercut the third. He ends up falling off his board, and he realizes now it's time for the final ultimate cheat. He pulls out his red button, but Goofy Goof hits him with that slow motion horseshoe right in the eyeball, and motherfucker falls on the red button, and he presses it anyway, and boom, a rocket board right into the X Games. Dead? Max is alive. He hears one of the other Gammas that went with him into the X sign crying out for help.
911, baby!
All right, listen, y'all. This is a very controversial scene back in the day because it came out like I think like a year before 9/11 happened. So just watch.
Maxie! Oh, Dad, help me lift this beam off a tank!
Come on! We're about to be baked Alaska here!
Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like it's all over.
Coincidentally, this scene was edited out. Future releases after 9/11 happened. It's not on like any of the streaming ones. It's still available on the DVD, on the VHSs though, so we got that. They make it out. A little burnt coming out. They still finish the race, and Maxie Goof wins by a chest hair. Uppercut the Third gets beat up by his friend, because obviously he left him for dead. Shoots him into the blimp, most definitely dead. Next scene, it's graduation. Maxie gives Goofy the trophy for whatever reason, tells him he got a job on campus. He freaks out. Also, he was just kidding. So did he get a job at all? I have no idea. Then they drive out into the sunset. Cheerful music plays, and that's an extremely goofy movie. I love this movie. Definitely my favorite one of the bunch. It was a good movie. One weird thing is how like the movie mostly takes place in the span of like, I'm assuming like a couple months, you know, and then it just seems to jump to graduation that last 2 minutes of the movie. So did we just miss like 80% of like the school year? So who knows what happened? A few things I was disappointed in were no Roxanne. I mean, literally no love interest at all. No damn Powerline. Where the fuck was Powerline? Which is like the highlight of the last movie, and no damn Cheese Whiz. Like, Bobby did not think about cheese at all in this goddamn movie. Like, did he grow out of it? Also found out they released a soundtrack to the movie, a CD, and maybe it's on vinyl. It looks like it's on vinyl. I don't know. It seems like it was just released in Canada, so you know. Other than that, I don't think that there was much left, you know? Like, if I was to go into more lore about it, it would just be more lore about the original Goofy movie. I don't know if I'll ever review that one. Other than that, thank you guys for joining me. Join me next time where I cover the next Disney direct to VHS sequel movie. Little Mermaid 2. Man.